intimidatingly handsome, but it's certainly not me. And my character's name is Elise, the wicked schemer of the lot. Although I suppose we're all a bit wicked and a little bit schemy.
My screen name is Lilith, and I play Ceph.
My character's name is Hollis. My name is Anya, and Hollis is a Baba Gob who is curious.
My name is Vespertine, and I play Madeline. And I don't think I was going to say anything else because I forgot.
That's okay.
Vicious Gorgon.
Yes.
And Ceph is what kind of character?
My apologies, I'm a nerd, so I'm a fish person.
But only when you want to be.
Master of disguise.
Only when I want. Very sneaky fish.
Sometimes the fish, sometimes Jesus Christ.
Yep.
And sometimes a carny.
So I think where we left off, you were all back at your covenstead after a successful undertaking. Can anyone remind us where we left off there?
With the undertaking?
We had successfully poisoned all the members of a church after convincing them that I was Jesus, Ewan McGregor Jesus specifically, and we had discovered that 2 of the bondage churchgoers had escaped.
The kinkiest of the lot.
That's right. And the individual that sent you on that undertaking, you met on the island Vulture Votary lives on, North Brother Island, which is near your covenstead. And if I remember right, you approached a wailing banshee who set you on that quest to avenge their gob or gob adjacent friend.
That is correct.
And so at this point, you are looking for payment for successfully completing the mission with not a whole lot to go on as far as where you should go to collect your payment, aside from that the Banshee said that she would meet you on the floating market when the time was right. Do any of you have any contacts that might have anything to do with the floating market? Any that are Fae?
Doesn't.
Not I.
I don't believe so. I have a vague ally I've written as a merchant, but I don't have much written there to have flesh out that character.
Okay.
So, I don't have a rival yet, and it might be a fun rival, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would count as a contact or not.
Yeah.
You stole something out their booth.
Whether they like you or not is unimportant as to whether or not they can be useful to get information out of.
Okay.
So a merchant would make a lot of sense too, so we could kind of go either direction for that if you'd like.
I feel like maybe this merchant knows me for constantly trying to steal his shit.
So you two might have the same, one of you ally, and the other it's a
My
rival?
ally is Vespertine's rival. Same person.
That could be interesting. Does that sound good to the two of you?
Works for me. I currently have them written as mortal, so like human, but we can change that. We haven't done anything with them yet, so I figure
Right.
that's kind of flexible.
Does that work for you, Vespertine?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And you don't have anything written for yours yet either?
No.
Okay. So I would assume the one of you that has them as an ally is probably the one that would want to get in contact with them. But why don't the two of you work something out as far as both of you come up with something, either a name, something specific
I'm
about
bad
them.
at names, so no names.
Okay.
I just literally everything I have written for this person is Mara, mortal, merchant, acquaintance.
Okay.
That's as far as I got.
Alliteration, though.
Yes. Very important. Before
Okay.
we rush off there, though,
Mhm.
I might, I suppose, remind everyone of a thought we had in the end of the last session, and that was to perform the rite of the Daglog on the embers at North Brother Island, to see if we could get further north of where the banshee is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was why we took the skill in the first place, the ritual.
As a greater ritual, that would require a downtime. So someone would need to spend a fey fruit.
I have one I can spare.
I have one
Okay.
as well. How many do you have?
I have 2.
Alice? You have 2? Okay.
Have the one. I believe. I don't think I ever used it. We all received one, yes?
I think I
Okay.
might have maybe used mine. I can check.
I think you had 2 from a previous undertaking, and I know you used at least 1, so you may have
Yeah, I
used...
only had one and I used it.
Okay.
Well, I have
I
some
ended up
right.
with 2 because I have the Pentacle of Solomon. I had like a little extra bit on mine, so I accidentally got 2.
That's right. Okay.
But of course, we don't have to do that if we don't want to waste the Fey food. If we want to just try and contact someone at the Fey market, but this will make things very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably do both things. Use the contact to get us into the market and use the right to find them at the market.
Yes. If you start with the right, then you could do a flashback with the contact if you need to get some extra information.
I assume the contact will know when and where the market's going to be at. And that would be useful information.
Mm-hmm. So, we can just assume that because your Covenstead is so close to North Brother Island, I think your Covenstead is South Brother Island.
Mm-hmm.
So, we could just assume that you make a quick jaunt over there and don't have any difficulties getting a dying ember from that fire. However, you do see that there's a shipwreck that wasn't there the last time you had arrived. It looks like a large wooden vessel, and there don't appear to be any survivors, at least from a distance.
It was recent, or that they cleared it out?
No, it looks pretty recent.
It's
run aground
wooden vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of what the Vulture Rotary does, right? They take care of the dead.
Yep. Does anyone want to check that out while someone else goes to get the material link for the Daglock?
If there's dead people there, I definitely want to check it out.
All together
As
then?
a fish person, I'll go with Hollis. I mean, if it's a ship, then I can assume I'll be helpful. Submerged.
I must admit, my curiosity is boundless regarding this. A wooden vessel.
Okay.
Definitely go as well.
You can see there are bodies floating in the shallow water on the beach, and you can see a yellowish, viscous liquid that's floated up to the surface as well.
What does it smell like?
It doesn't smell like the stuff you smelled at the...
Stuff I smelled where?
At the carnival.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna ask.
Not
It was
that
like the
viscous.
yellow stuff that was on Elise, so if it's not like that.
Yeah, no.
Does it smell like oceany or like dead?
Yeah.
We should set the fire.
Let's pull all the bodies out. Maybe I can talk to them.
Okay. All right. When you pull one of the rigor mortis bodies out of the water, it looks like this first one that you pull out was bludgeoned to death and then thrown into the water. So because there's no water in its lungs.
Pirates.
Well, my speak to the dead says to concentrate and touch the corpse and do a gather information roll.
You can decide what you'd like to use.
So I think I want to use focus since I'm trying to gather information magically.
Yeah. Gonna be controlled. Standard effect.
And that's in the Tuesday playtest, right?
Yes.
I have a partial success with a 5.
Well, partial success is still a success.
Yeah.
Starting the session off strongly.
Okay.
I did want to say real quick, if I seem really distracted, it's just because I'm having a hard time focusing, but I got clay so I can make stuff, and hopefully that will help me focus.
Really?
So if I seem distracted, I'm actually listening for once.
All
Yeah, that's
right.
awesome. That's how my daughter focuses. She keeps her iPad and she draws time.
I was a big doodler in school myself.
I'm a one task at a time person, but I can appreciate it. Okay. So Hollis, you can ask 2 questions of the dead.
I guess first big question is what happened to the vessel? How did it end up here? And I guess what is all this yellow gunk everywhere? If that's not answered in the first question.
If I got a question because I have psychometry. Does the boat count as too big of an item for me to touch? Because I could save you a question if it was valid.
Yeah, we can check that out in a moment, but it should be unless you roll really poorly. So, okay. As far as what happened to this gent that you found, he tells you that everyone aboard went mad and started attacking one another, and he was unceremoniously clubbed while his back was turned.
Does he know what the yellow gunk is?
No, when he died, the ship hadn't run aground yet.
Is the yellow stuff too much to psychometry? Does it count as an item?
You have to touch it then. That's disgusting.
Yeah, if she wants to.
I mean, it's goop on my fish hands. I think I'll be fine.
cannot make something slimy much slimier.
Would you guys rather me touch the yellow goop or the ship?
If everybody got attacked,
I'm thinking the yellow goop, because it may have been what drove them crazy to make them attack each other.
yes.
Okay.
So I guess my second question would be, what, if anything, does this person think caused everybody to go mad?
There's one. The only thing he knows for sure that it wasn't was the beautiful singing that they heard from the water.
Ceph,
It
what
couldn't
have your
have been
people
that,
done?
but otherwise he has no idea.
Okay.
It was too beautiful to have caused anyone harm.
Wait. Yeah, touch that goop.
Okay, so I'd like to use my psychometry on the yellow goop. Just stick my mangled hands into this suspicious yellow gunk.
Maybe I get a crit and it'll heal you.
So that's one essence. How do I use psychometry again?
You can
In
choose
regards
the
to-
roll. I would
Okay, so
say
I can pick whatever. Maybe like a
focus
study or something.
yeah. That could work.
Okay. Well, I have study and focus, so maybe a focus.
Okay.
Sorry, my keyboard's all twisted around. Complete success at a 6.
Brava, darling.
So you get visions and auras. You feel very close to this whatever it is that this liquid came from, and you feel a connection to it, and the strongest thought you get is that you have to get in the water right now if you want any chance of saving it.
These mermaid eggs. This is like a
Are they mermaids?
giant release.
We shall hatch them and have an army of mermaids.
That's how you fertilize mermaids. You just spawn over all the dead bodies. Ferments all.
I think that's new levels of dark.
So yeah, you feel very connected to it, and you feel like there's something underwater that you need to get to.
Okay.
Can Ceph breathe underwater?
I mean, I'm a fish person, I would assume so. Otherwise, I'm pretty cruddy near it.
Do you have gills?
I mean, have you seen the picture of me?
Yes, there's some very large gills, my goodness.
So, I guess I can go for a little swimmy swam, if you guys are cool with that.
I'm
Well,
curious.
Just be sure not to splash me when you're shaking off after.
Because of that, I'm going to splash you on purpose.
A little bit of yellow goo, a lot of ocean water. Alright, you find your way down to the bottom and creep across under the wreckage until you come to the body of some sort of very Nereid-like creature. Its breathing is extremely shallow, and it has a puncture wound in its abdomen, leaking this yellow fluid.
Caviar! It is caviar!
I have a first aid kit. Could I potentially do something?
You'll probably need to get her to land.
Okay.
But she reaches for you and manages to open her eyes, and as she reaches toward you, she drops a gold token of some kind, and it sort of flips over in the water.
Sorry, the audio cut out after you said water.
Toward the ground. Loops toward the ground. And she speaks in one big bubble and says, now I forgot where this is supposed to go.
Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you and I threw you off.
No, it's fine.
I threw off your
It's not your fault. It's my forgetfulness. She spits out for Jack, Shadow Dawn, and the token falls from her hand.
More fall.
For Jack, Shadow Dawn.
Sounds like someone else we have to kill. A man with a boring name.
Yes.
Okay, well, I upgraded my grimoire powers last time, and I have dire form, so would I be able to potentially make myself into something stronger and larger to bring this creature to the surface?
You could, but it's probably not necessary. You're a good enough swimmer. All of your webbed fingers and toes, that you shouldn't have any difficulty bringing it back to the surface.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Do I need to do, I guess I would have to do a roll for that to see if...
No, that's okay. Yeah, you're good enough at swimming. Are you just taking her?
To this thing, like you said, so I feel compelled to. Well,
are you just bringing her back to the surface, or
did
gonna bring the...
throw me the token, so I guess I should scoop that up, because otherwise that's rude.
Okay.
Put it in wherever my little pouch is with the Pentacle of Solomon. They'll just hang out in the same little coin purse.
Okay. All right. As you are bringing her back to the surface, you can sort of feel the last bits of life leaving her body. And she dies in your arms as you crest the surface.
I could speak to the dead with her and see if we can get more information on Jack.
That sounds like a good idea.
How fishy is this nearage?
Are you going to be fish racist?
No, I was sashimi.
She doesn't quite look like a nereid to like any you've seen before. She might be like something slightly different.
So
More on the face side.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can speak to the dead of Fae. So I guess I have to try now. I guess I'll roll another focus roll and see if I can find them.
Okay.
The dice bot didn't roll for me. Oh, it's because I hit 1 instead of exclamation point. There we go. Complete success. 6.
Okay. So apparently it does work to some degree on the Fae. She seems frazzled and confused. But what is it you want to know?
Jack is, and do we need to give Jack this thing?
Yeah, she imprints a vision of a shape-shifting creature that goes by the name Jack into your mind, and a few of its forms, one of which being a spider with a human face on its underside.
Yeah.
That sounds...
Another being a winged goblinoid creature. And yet another being a red-haired boyish trickster.
Okay.
More
I'm
horror.
gonna try to remember all of these.
But then, just about with all that, she vanishes from her mind, and you kind of feel her go to some place that you wouldn't have any time reaching.
Bye, see Mom.
So I turn to Ceph and I ask them, what is all that yellow stuff?
It is me. I am it. I don't know.
It's probably blood or bile. It's
I mean,
unclear.
if it was coming from the abdomen wound that it had, it would probably be some kind of bodily fluid from their injury, so.
So it's not caviar.
Don't eat it.
Alright. But can we eat fish person?
No! It's dead now. That's not safe. Or respectful.
Most of the sushi I eat is dead.
Most?
Most. Have you seen octopus?
I have eaten a live minnow before because I wanted to know what it would taste like.
Probably just taste wiggly.
That's the same with spiders.
Very salty.
I also ate ants and grasshoppers. I don't know.
Protein!
So I'm going to do that with the fish.
Just down the hatch.
Well, I still have to carve her first.
Well,
Maybe we should ask the Vulture Rotary if they wanted to this on their island.
Oh, yes.
Chop it up.
Yeah, you see a procession of vulture votary come out of the big house on top of the hill, and they appear to be wearing finery for a funeral procession.
Yeah, you want to piss off Anarine Days that we met last time? They're waterborne. You're gonna eat, like, their kinfolk right in front of them?
Not in front of them, darling.
Carve out a piece and take it off.
Sake.
But yeah, it looks like they're coming down for the bodies. They're not. They don't specifically go after her. They pull up all the bodies that they can get their hands on.
Okay. So I'm going to assume that this Jack person is probably also Fae. And since we need to go to a Fae market anyway, maybe they'll be there.
Should we tell them about Roger and his sneaky plan that would have gotten them in trouble since we're here?
Did we talk
Yeah,
about that
absolutely.
before?
No, we went somewhere else right after. We never came back here. So we just kind of dealt with Roger and went home.
Yeah.
I feel like they want to at least know.
Oh.
Aww.
Billy is here.
They seem to be involved in a ritual right now, so maybe for later to communicate with them.
There's little wings behind your head.
Kind of shitty little frog, but it's a little frog.
Love it.
All frogs are good frogs, darling.
Nice.
Got my shitty little frog on my phone.
And you've got a shitty little frog on your shoulder as well, dear Ribbert.
Ribbert is a valuable member of the team, and I will not appreciate you sassing him.
Au revoir.
It looks great, Miss Brittany. Your frog looks so cute.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, if they're all tied up in this funeral procession, perhaps we should proceed to that campfire.
Agreed.
Or what remains of it.
Do what we actually came here for.
Alright. When you arrive after digging around in the ash for a few minutes, you find a tiny silver medallion that is amidst the remains of the fire that has an image pressed into it on one side of the banshee woman's face and on the other side of the gob you saw in your vision.
Okay. I'll pick that up. Will this work for the daglock?
You would assume so, yeah.
It's got her face on it. Pretty specific.
Must be quite important to have a coin with their face on it. So we should expect a very generous reward.
I mean, banshees did traditionally only work for royalty, so...
So this is a gob queen, is what you're saying?
Well, at least she works for one.
Okay. The Rite of the Daglock gives you an extra die on an undertaking to locate an individual. Yeah, I think an individual. Or it just leads you straight to them if it's an easy thing to do. But getting to the floating market is not going to be easy. So...
Yeah, that's where I was hoping that the contacts would come in handy to get us to where we need to be to get into the market.
Yeah. So we could do simply do a engagement roll with +1 die for having a contact that you can use, and you would just choose the type of, or the method and the detail for the undertaking. On the plus side, it's probably going to be a relatively easy undertaking, which is good because you've had a couple doozies recently.
No murderous nuns is what you're saying. Or fewer, at least.
Fewer. Stranger.
Well, we do like strange here in the Nightsky Sanctum.
So we have arcane as a method, or pursuit, or social, which I think any of them would fit.
I would say, why don't we try being social? I mean, we really don't want to make any enemies around here. If we can
Not really with Faye. That's for sure.
Especially if we have a contact already, social kind of helps overlap with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The details also connection, so that helps.
Okay. So with the added bonus of having a contact, that's going to give you a 3 dice engagement roll. Well, that's not good.
Oh dear.
So, that is a failure. So,
My god, a terrible failure.
yeah, 1, 2, 1. Okay. You, let's see. Ceph, your contact's name is Mara?
Yes.
Okay. You track down Mara to a warehouse on the docks. And when you arrive, you hear screaming coming from inside, and it's in Mara's voice.
Oh no.
Just because you say the docks, I also have a rival that's a dock worker. If we want to tie that into our failure.
Yeah,
I don't
wasn't.
know. I don't know how
Did
far.
we use them?
We have not used them yet. We debated on using them last time, but then we ended up going somewhere else.
Okay.
And they hate me. I have background information for them that they're essentially blackmailing me.
Right. Okay.
But we haven't used them, so if it doesn't work for the story, we can do whatever.
They're not just Ahab to your whale.
Okay. So did everybody go in through the same? Well, we'll just assume everybody went in the same way, and you all have just opened up the door into this warehouse that you can hear the screaming coming from. It sounds pained, and you can hear the sounds of people running through the building, but you can't see anyone just yet. There are probably multiple entrances and exits, but you came from the one on the seaside.
But is there a light switch?
You can see relatively well in the warehouse. It looks like it houses school buses. So there's a big row of school buses, and then in the back area, stairwells that lead up to catwalks. And it sounds like that area is where the yelling is coming from.
Can we see into the catwalks from before?
Yeah, the catwalks are clear currently.
Or do we see the people that are causing the commotion?
No.
Okay, well, I have a trauma as reckless, and I'm also neurotic, so I'm just gonna assume that Mara is in terrible danger, and I would like to kind of dash forward abruptly.
Okay. Madeline, any ideas about why this person might be a rival of yours?
Because I steal from them.
Ah. That makes sense.
Unless if someone has a better idea, I don't know. I think that's a good idea.
That seems
Yeah.
perfect.
I like it. Okay. So I assume with reckless, you're not making any attempt at rushing back there, Ceph?
Sorry, it cut out after reckless, so, like, any...
Are you making any attempt to conceal yourself, or is this just a full-on reckless run to the back?
I'm just doing a full-on reckless run at this point.
Okay. All right.
Slip-slapping my flipper feet.
Everyone else trying to keep up, or?
I actually am going to shout out, "Halt!" as loud as I can. Now, my goal here is twofold. To try to get Ceph to pause for a second, but also, more importantly, to get whatever's happening up there to stop for a second. If Ceph's going to run up there, maybe I can at least get them to stop slaughtering the poor girl.
Okay.
Just
Do you want to do a command?
Yes, I don't actually expect them to stop because I'm commanding them, more or less because I'm distracted them.
I'm going to say controlled, but also reduced effect.
Exclamation mark, silly me. It's a partial success.
Okay. Ceph, you are not bound by anything.
No, definitely.
Yeah. You just determine whether that character is important enough to you that you would want to do what they say despite your previous interests. And as far as the NPCs, they take it as they acknowledge that someone else is here, and you see an emergency exit open, and sunlight comes streaming through, and you see 3 people clad in black run out through that emergency side exit.
Can we pause for a second?
Sure.
Hey, Gavin, are you still using that new microphone that you got? That you're using?
Yeah.
You need
Is it
to probably
acting up?
unplug that. Just use your computer one because you're cutting out a lot.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Any better?
Daylight.
Well, we'll have to see in the next couple of minutes, but yeah,
Okay.
that might be chopping you up quite a bit.
So
Okay.
far, seems very crisp.
So 3 individuals clad in black come barreling down some of the stairs in the back area and open an emergency exit on the side of the building and exit quickly after hearing the command to stop.
So the assailants ran away?
Most
Presumably.
likely.
Let's go
Well, maybe
see.
we should go check on Mara, make sure she's well.
Ceph, did you pause when Elise commanded?
I think you said that I didn't care enough. Elise, you're not my real
No.
mom. I just kept going.
Yeah, you can choose whether you care.
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm
And
not
that,
your real
if I have the choice, I'm just gonna keep going.
Okay. In that case, you're the first on the scene. You find another that are strewn across the room from her, and she seems relatively unconcerned by the lack of limbs. However, she is curled up in a ball and yelling at her stump of a leg as something is emerging from it.
Oh, is she
Another
starfish
baby
looking?
limb.
There's a decent amount of blood on the floor, but she doesn't look like she's having any trouble.
It's just a flesh wound.
You see something glint in her mouth as she's yelling, and she sees you and looks up, and you can tell that whatever it is in her mouth is preventing her from being able to yell as loudly as she wants to. Something emerging from her leg wound. You hear squeaking noises as a small wheel works its way out of her leg wound. A wheel.
I was gonna say, I was wondering if it was gonna be Deadpool and little baby leg starts going.
I thought perhaps there was a gerbil working its way through her system.
As soon as the wheel makes its way out of the wound hole, the rest slides out a lot more easily. It's a piece of curved metal, kind of like a wagon wheel.
Sorry, is this coming out of the severed leg or like her stump where her leg used to be?
Out of the stump where her leg used to be, yeah.
Okay.
And once it has left the wound enough, she finishes chewing up the piece of wood and spits the chunks out onto the ground and then stands up on her wheel leg.
Have we been able to catch up right now?
Mara's
What's that?
now a human unicycle.
Yeah. So she has one good leg and one wheel leg on a peg, and she's got a bag strapped across her body. It looks like whatever she had, they weren't here to take anything from her except for her limbs.
It's so weird. Yeah, did we catch up?
Yeah, you catch up, and the two of you are just standing there looking.
Well, I'm just gonna ask her, why did they want your limbs?
I'm more concerned concerned with why they're now replaced with a wheel.
Different priorities.
She's into steampunk, I guess.
So she says, I think, like you, they knew I have dealings with the Fae, and they thought they could get something out of me. Thank goodness you arrived when you did. She spits a few more chunks of wood out of her mouth and says, I'm gonna need a couple more of those.
What is that?
Let me find the nearest vending machine.
She looks down and it's the only reason I have a second leg right now.
You mean a wheel?
Yeah, I met this merchant the last time I was at the floating market, and he gave me a insurance card in the form of that ruined piece of wood.
They had no insurance.
Trust me, it wasn't free.
Nothing ever is.
Cost an arm and a leg.
Two arms this time.
Interesting.
So she says, they must have tapped the call and heard that I was going to meet with you here to discuss the floating market.
Alright, well, how do we get there?
My goodness, darling, have some tact.
She's fine.
But I believe that I am staying hiding around the corner so she doesn't see me and doesn't freak out.
Not a bad idea.
I think she's the last one we should be concerned about getting freaked out. I mean, I just had to watch a wheel come out of her leg.
She's fairly calm for someone that just lost 3 limbs.
Her arms are just laying over there.
Yeah, they are.
I go and pick up the arms and start waving them about. No, I don't do that. That's out of character.
Just make them start clapping.
It's out of character. I'll leave that to someone else.
We sell those at the market?
Mara tells you that she needs to make a trip to the floating market now, just as badly as you all seemed to need to. Possibly worse. She gestures at her everything, or lack of arms, and says, normally she doesn't. This isn't something that she often gives away the secrets to finding the Fae market, because they're her bread and butter. But because you came at exactly the right time, and we'll be able to help her get there, that she'll show you the way. Anything anybody
Bring
wants
her
to do?
arms in case if we are able to find something that will reconnect her arms rather than have her grow new ones.
Which will probably just be wooden stumps.
Just 2 more wheels.
I feel like she might want arms and maybe we can find someone to reconnect her arms.
So she says, probably just best to leave them. Whatever those things were that tried to take them off of me probably still want them. So maybe if we leave them here, that'll keep them off our backs for a little while.
So we don't feed them to Madeline's panther then.
Okay. She takes you back out to the docks and says that she'll need your help to perform a little ritual, because it requires a couple of arms.
Well, we've got a couple of arms. They're up in the office. Very peculiar spell components, but I suppose no more so than I've note.
So she needs someone to scratch the earth and another person to pour something into the sky.
Why? Is the earth itchy?
And evidently the sky is thirsty.
How big is the thing that needs to get poured into the sky?
The size of a conch shell.
How heavy is it?
What's that?
How heavy is it?
Probably a pound at the most.
My owl could try to get it up in the sky, if that's where it needs to go.
That's a good idea.
Here, I thought we were being metaphorical with the pour into the sky thing.
Okay.
Or we could pour it into the ocean, which is, like sky's reflected. Maybe.
Like a reflection of the sky. But then we would have to scratch the earth above us.
I mean, if we could be on the beach.
Is there an overhang anywhere?
She takes you down onto the beach. Yeah.
Well, she needs to be more specific since she's got to get to the market too.
What's that?
I said she needs to be more specific if she wants to get to the market.
Hollis, your thing is just grave dirt, right? And Madeline, you're the one that has the stuff about gardening? Should you be the one that scratches the dirt? Like, you have your
Stuff about
downtime.
gardening?
You had your downtime ritual or something.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes. Well, I'm wondering how you scratch the earth. You just, take your fingernails and...
Maybe one of your claws.
Oh, yes, I do have that claw. I can just scratch the earth with it. Does it stay there for the rest of the gang?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want it to, until you want it to be gone.
I want it there forever and ever.
Okay.
I'm mad I don't personally have one, okay?
Just stop trimming your fingernails, darling. They get there eventually.
No, they break.
Alright.
And I want to follow. Can I take my panther?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I follow her with my panther.
Okay.
I don't suppose the spectacular study room could help us recreate this magic ritual later.
That's a good question. I think she would tell you that it's never the same way to get to the floating market twice. And usually it's a lot more difficult. What's that?
I have too many limbs.
Just saying it's like Narnia, never the same way twice.
Right.
And full of Christian fundamentalism. Anyway, that was our last excursion.
God, I hope not. I'm so done with Christian fundamentalism. Oh, God, I can't say a word.
When you look back to where you conducted the ritual, you see a blue being come from the sky and a red being come up from the scratches in the earth.
A red marks. Is it Garo?
It's some type of fae that is hopping on one foot with its other 3 feet outstretched and flapping its wings as it hops toward the boat. The blue entity with wings also flies down and finds its way onto the boat. And you see a couple of large bony fish come up beside the boat, and as the boat takes off, they swim along the sides of the boat with you. Neither of the creatures, they're humanoid looking, but definitely not human.
Well, you said
almost.
one has 4 feet, so I have to assume not terribly humanoid looking.
Yeah. The red creature kind of looks like a demon of some kind, with extremely long, thin fingers and toes. Only one of its legs seems to be strong enough to hold up its body weight.
I tell them that they are utterly fabulous.
It caws at you.
You're welcome.
And smiles all the way to its ears. Sharp teeth.
Can we get one of those bony fish for this guy? Looks like he could rip one apart.
A blue creature looks what you would consider to be more angelic, but angular, and it's not clothed. But it flies down and perches on the seat behind the red being.
You're lucky Vespertine wasn't there for that. They'll start flirting with them.
Uh-oh.
My goodness.
Technical difficulties. Yay, everybody went back to their proper position.
I am back. Discord crashed for a second. But I did hear all about these fey creatures, and I might want to flirt with them. I don't know.
One of them's already undressed for you, darling. If they wear clothes at any point.
I'm discovering at this point that Madeline has a thing for feet. There's so many feet. Oh, it's
no, I have a thing for teeth. Dark. Because I want fangs in real life.
Don't we all, darling?
They don't really seem to understand your English, but they mostly are just peering at the moon as the fairy takes you into the mists.
I shall also peer at the moon, because there doesn't seem to be much better to do, because the company is a unstable gorgon, a gob, a fish person, and 2 fae who don't speak English.
Dare you call me unstable?
Hey, we're all unstable here.
Oh, and someone with a wheel for a leg. I suppose I shouldn't pass judgment on that person yet.
Anything you want to talk to Mara about? I'm sorry?
I was just saying, that's not, the leg thing at least isn't Mara's fault. We're all insane already. That's our own.
Yeah. Anything you want to talk to Mara about on the way?
I tell Mara that I am very, very sorry for stealing stuff from her in the past, and that I think that the way she handled having her limbs chopped off was very intriguing, and I tried to engage her in conversation and become a friend.
Well, I think she would really appreciate that.
You're going to date arrival and lose arrival in the same bloody session.
So she seems to
You think I
appreciate
make my
it.
friends?
But she says until you return all those trinkets, you're not getting off that easily. But maybe if you can find me something of real value or usefulness to me in the floating market tonight, then we can discuss better terms for our relationship.
Is Roger useful? No.
Parts?
Not really.
For parts.
She doesn't need parts. She's got spare parts. She already left the back of the warehouse.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah, she tells you there's an inventor on the ship that she's going to talk to, and they should be able to help her out with the limb issues.
I would like to ask her how she managed the blood loss so wonderfully. I mean, I'd be rather faint after losing that much blood.
She continues to find chunks of wood in her mouth, and just anytime anybody asks her about how she spits out a splinter of wood.
Just like George Washington.
The mists finally begin to part, and you see a rusty ocean liner out in the middle of the water, and it is covered in string lights, and it looks like it's about 3 stories tall out of the water.
Does it look like the bar is still open?
The what?
The bar. And the casino, for that matter. And the theater.
It looks like the Titanic if you pulled it out of the ocean and got it floating again.
So covered in
looks like-
barnacles.
Yeah, and rust. But
She may
Yeah.
not want to drink anything in there.
Well, gin is gin, darling. Rust doesn't change a bloody thing.
My girlfriend
Right.
told me yesterday it's weird to order shots of gin.
It's a bit peculiar. Just have a martini, darling. It's basically 3 shots of gin with olives in it.
olives rough.
But don't say that around Lilith.
I'd rather the rock.
Good thing tonight is not one of my eat 2 entire jars of olives in one sitting night, though.
The night is still young, darling.
All right. The ferry rises up out of the water and climbs toward the larger ocean liner. And once it gets close enough, the ramp comes out again, as if by magic, and attaches the 2 boats together. And you can see various types of fey creatures aboard this ship. There are dozens of booths set up, and there's just so much poorly lit things up there that it's impossible to focus on like any single thing. But there are probably 200 or more people all moving around between the booths. But
Hollis is very excited to see everybody.
I'm
But the
very
coin-
excited to see people as well. My goodness. We've had some rather antisocial outings lately.
Just imagining Curious Hollis must touch all the things.
So, how did you create your daglock with these medallion?
I would assume we did the ritual, and since it was her the banshee's face, that we would have attached it to the banshee that way. Made the
Yeah, I
connection.
just mean like physically. How did you make it? Did you hang it from something or
because I don't want to
suspended
poke
in
a hole
liquid?
in it. Yeah, I would have made like a little pouch with a string on the end, so it's kind of like it can lead me where I need to go.
Okay. Well, it is trying to lead you. It was trying a little bit, but once you came through the mist, it was
Okay, well I'm gonna hold it up and just let it take me where it wants to go.
okay. What do you want to roll for that? Do you?
Let me see. I feel like because it's attached to a magical thing, it could be a focus roll.
Sure.
It could be a survey roll because it's kind of broad and you're just kind of guessing where it's pulling you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But I like focus better.
Okay.
On that note, because it's a right that we all share, are we allowed to support one another with rolls? Rather? Willpower? Assistance?
Let's just call this a fortune roll. So we'll just do it like a 2 dice fortune, and it'll apply to the.
Are you gonna roll it or do you want me to roll it?
You can roll it.
It's a failure. I've got a 3.
Okay.
Gildemar!
The medallion pulls. So what? How did? Can you describe again to me physically how you attach the medallion?
So I made a little pouch that would tie up and kind of like drawstring around the coin. And it's got a long string so it can swing and kind of go where it needs to go.
Okay. So it pulls extremely hard, and you have a very strong idea of the direction you need to go, but it pulls so hard that it pulls out of your hand and bounces forward and lands behind and underneath one of the booths, where there is a fey creature that is dark, deep purple and has 4 arms with butcher knives in all 4. And it is underneath that fey creature's booth. But you do have a pretty good idea of where it was trying to take you. You see a mast nearly straight ahead where it was pointing, and you can see the mast goes up to a crow's nest. And that might be why it pulled up so hard and jumped out of your hands. But it went forward and up and just leapt right out of your hands.
Okay.
So you're saying we don't get to go sweet talk that charming purple gentle fellow? With
Somebody
4 arms
absolutely could.
and butcher
I mean,
knives.
I'm
each
purple.
one. Match made in heaven.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to stay back,
Who's got the most sway?
I have 0 sway.
I have 1. But we don't need to sway anyone anyhow if it's up in this.
I mean, we could go check the crow's nest first, and if Banshee's up there, then we don't have to worry about it. But if they're not up there, then we have to come back and
Talk
get
to
our
this monster zinc fellow.
Yeah.
Actually.
Or you could split up, and some of you could go in one direction, the others could try to see if you can get this thing back. But yeah, this purple creature is stomping around and waving its knives around in such a way that without getting its attention, you would have a difficult time getting to where the bag fell.
He's probably really nice.
Yeah.
Very sweet guy.
I have to assume, every butcher I've ever known in my life has been a charming individual.
Exactly.
They just have very large knives.
That's just their stall. We're at the market. They sell knives.
Well, let's take a trip up to the crow's nest and see if they're there.
So who wants to go?
I want to go.
I want to climb up to a crow's nest.
Okay.
I'm going to stay on the ground because I don't want to climb in a gown.
I'll come with, but I'll stay on the ground with Elise.
Okay. Okay. There is a ladder, but it looks like there are several places ladders leading up to the crow's nest. So it's going to be a sort of feat of acrobatics and climbing to get up there.
Okay. I could prowl up the ladder.
Okay. Traverse slowly and carefully.
Yeah, and I will spend willpower to get myself a boost.
You want to increase your... I'm going to say it's risky and standard effect. Do you want to give yourself an extra die or get greater effect?
I think I'll get an extra die.
Okay.
I have a partial success out of 5.
Okay.
So I don't fall off.
Okay. So, because you're of shorter stature, you have an easier time moving between the different things. So, like moving between the ladder and a rope. But you get to a point where if you were, you would have an easier time. So you pause and have to muster up the courage to jump to the next bit of ladder. So it's going to go up to desperate, and you're going to need to get a little bit further.
If she shouts parkour before she jumps, she's going to get an extra die.
That could be a good fey bargain.
Could Madeline boost me up the ladder?
It's more of tree climbing.
Cats can climb ladders.
Cats can climb anything.
It's going to use the same roll as you. So you've got hands. So as far as giving other people a boost, it's probably going to be better if it's you rather than your panther.
Okay. So what do I do for that? Sorry.
So you can choose what you want to do. I would say so. Anya used a prowl to get partially up there.
Okay. I can do that then. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 1 die.
Sure.
You can spend willpower to boost it, or
Take a fey bargain.
Oh yeah, I was forgetting about it.
Well, I'm going to a Fey market, and I feel like I don't want a Fey bargain right now.
Save the
It could
fey bargain
really-
for later.
They
could
count
really
double while
backfire.
you're at the market.
Don't you have a climbing kit? Somebody had a climbing
Oh
kit.
yeah, I do have a climbing kit. Can I just use that?
You could certainly. I would say you can have a +1 die if you spend some time setting your stuff up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Failure 2 from 2 and 2.
Okay. So I'll say that instead of it being a risky fail, it'll be controlled. Basically, your climbing gear isn't really well suited to climb to the top of a bird's nest. It's a lot of spikes and things like that, and the wood of this thing is rotted out, and you're worried that if you were to be jabbing that in places, you might cause the entire thing to crumble. So you end up you can choose to either go up at risky and roll again, or without your climbing gear's help, or try something different, or just decide against going. Your choice.
I have to stay on the ground.
Okay.
This wood is making me nervous.
Alright, well, the gob is relatively light, and
I'm just gonna yell out for the banshee and just be like, "Hey, banshee, we're here. please come down."
If Carlos is light as the gob and I use dire form, I could just yeet them to the top of the crow's nest.
That's dangerous. But yeah.
How is your accuracy, darling?
The banshee looks over the side from the crow's nest down at you and reaches a hand down, but it's of no use from that distance.
Oh man. I guess I'll try to climb up further.
Okay.
I'll take a fey bargain and I'll use finesse.
Okay. Let's see. I think a certain fae has spotted you from the deck, and is going to be looking for you when they, if you get near them later. They're going to be like, oh, that's the person I saw climbing. They're athletic. I want to do something in particular with them.
Okay. So I guess I'll roll. Do I get an extra die for that?
For the fey bargain, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that particular thing is wrestling.
Right. failed. I got a 3.
All right. Let's see. We're only in risky. Let's see.
Banshees can fly. She's gonna catch me. It's fine. Or she just wails for my death, and I feel very honored.
Yeah. She tries to come to your aid, but she is impelled to stay on top of this crow's nest. And so she dives for you, and just she can't even make it off the crow's nest. And you fall, and as you're nearing the ground, you reach out and grab a hold of one of the bars of the ladder and pull your shoulder completely out of joint when you pull yourself to a stop. So, level 2 harm, dislocated shoulder.
That hurt. I'm not climbing back up there. She can come down.
I don't think she can.
Maybe we need the coin to get her to come down. I guess we can go talk to the purple guy.
Coin for Jack?
There is a coin
Different coin.
for Jack.
We've got a lot of coins.
There was a silver coin for the banshee, and golden coin for the...
I'm just gonna go ask the giant purple guy if he can give me my coin back.
Okay.
With tears in my eyes because my shoulder was located, and maybe he'll feel bad for me.
Yes, you realize some pity.
Okay.
Shapeshift and fly my way up if we continue to keep failing at climbing.
I'm thinking that's going to be the inevitable result, Don.
Okay. Alright. Anya, what does Hollis want to do? Just go try talking to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over there and try to sway as best I can. I'm gonna cry and look tiny and adorable, and I dropped my coin, please. It's really important. I can... Yeah, please be nice to me.
So when you talk to him, he doesn't seem to notice your presence. He's got his back turned to you. So you try a bit louder, and he still doesn't turn around.
I'm gonna jump up on his counter.
Okay. When he hears your feet up on his counter, he turns around quickly and nearly knocks you off of it. You're looking up at where you expect his face to be, but you see a pair of eyes, no face, and when you look down his body, it's on his chest, and his big purple tongue lolling out of one side of his mouth, and he makes some noises that don't sound anything like any language you've ever heard before. But
Can
he's
I
got...
the coin?
No, it's under his booth.
Okay, I'm just gonna point down and be like, I dropped something.
Okay. He picks up one of the butcher knives and buries it in the counter beside your foot, and then uses that to prop himself up as he leans down, and you hear his knees crack and crunch as this monstrous body on these teeny tiny legs, as he crouches down for to check underneath, and he uses one of his knives to poke around underneath the booth until he brings the blade back out, and it has your pouch dangling on it.
big smile and hold my hand out. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
He takes it off the blade and throws it into his mouth.
No.
Then he burps, "Mine."
It's not food.
At least maybe it's time for a physical takeover so you can make him burp. Throw up or something.
Unfortunately, darling, my abilities are limited to witches and saves. I have no power over these things.
I'm gonna get very upset, and I'm gonna hold up one of my hands and call on some hellfire and try to look as intimidating as I can. And be like, give it back.
Alright. Is that a command?
I guess it'll be a command.
I am small but not helpless. It is very compact, densely packed rage.
If you spend 1 essence on that, that'll give you increased effect.
Can I have another Fey bargain to get an extra die?
Sure.
Can I come up and whisper in Hollis's ear horribly bossy things in a way of encouraging them to be bossy?
Yeah, you're like giving them ideas.
I'm pepping them up to be bossy and mean.
That sounds good.
We'll spend a willpower for that.
And as far as a Fey bargain, I think the pouch has already hit the stomach acid, so all that's coming back up is best case scenario.
Okay. Alright, so that'll be 2 dice then.
Plus 2 dice.
Plus 2 dice?
Yeah. 1 from Morningstar and 1 from the Fey bargain.
I got a partial success.
Okay.
He can throw up acid all over my hands and it can burn really bad.
Oh, no.
That makes sense.
I do have a first aid
Okay.
kit.
But I get my coin.
Yep. You get your coin and a couple of bony fish heads covered in Fey stomach acid.
And a reputation of being very terrible.
Gives our coven a reputation
I just
point.
pat the little gob on its vomit-covered shoulder.
Ouch.
My fire doesn't go out for stomach acid, and then I just put it out and take my coin.
Either that or it makes the fire enormous, super flammable.
Yes.
My goodness, what was in their stomach?
I say thank you and hop off the table.
Okay. It very gingerly rubs down the booth where your feet were. Doesn't want any of the other customers thinking that there were feet up there.
Or fish heads.
Fish heads are a delicacy. Okay. The banshee awaits.
I don't know how to get her to come down.
Well, we'll just have to send Ceph up.
I'm sorry, you can fly. Take it. I don't want to climb up that ladder again.
Yeah, I can shapeshift and fly up. You can do that.
What do you want to turn into?
I gotta be big enough to carry this thing.
It's just a little coin.
A pigeon.
Well, we're by the sea. Should I be a seagull?
Mine.
I'll be a seagull, I guess.
Okay.
I don't remember how to do the shape-shifting turns.
You don't have to roll anything usually. Alright. You're able to fly the coin up. You can see the banshee, again, trying to get down to it. But yeah, it can't leave the crow's nest. When you get up there, she's waiting, and do you want to turn back into yourself? Or just drop the coin into her hands?
Sure, I'll drop it into her hands, and then I guess I'll turn back and just kind of sit and perch myself on the edge of the crow's nest.
Okay. As soon as she gets it, you see her become a little bit more corporeal, a little more physically there, and she starts to try to climb down out of the crow's nest. So if you want to just fly and follow her.
Yeah, sure. I guess if I'm not turning back, I'll fly down and kind of like keep the perimeter around. I guess she's making her way down.
Yeah. All right. As you're flying down, you see it's a decent ways off, and you see all around him are bird cages full of seabirds. And you see him go into a chest and pull out what looks like a very, very nasty crossbow with a barbed device on the end, and he locks up his booth and starts heading toward where you guys are.
He's gonna harpoon a seagull.
And you to his menagerie.
He had his chips eaten one too many times when he went to the beach.
Alright, the banshee comes down and makes it to the ground level, and she just drops to her knees and is extremely thankful that you all have returned the item to her.
I'll tell her that we took care of those nuns.
Say that again?
Oh, we took care of those nuns.
Oh, yes.
Yet she grasps the coin, and you can see it all sort of play for her eyes. She's like psychometrying what happened. And she says, everyone here at one time or another, I've done something for these Fae. So use my name and you'll get whatever you desire.
What's your name?
That's a good question. Something I should have come up with that. Anybody have an idea for a good name for a banshee?
Should it be some kind of pun off like wailing or screeching or howling?
The wailer.
Karen.
Oh.
He's a nice banshee.
Nice. We can't call her Karen.
You should probably go with a Celtic name.
That was my thought too.
Pulling up Google for cool name.
That's what I do every single time. I'm just like, I can't think of a name.
Just be lazy and call her Kate.
Aislinn. Aislinn. Is the name she gives you.
Aislinn?
Aislinn.
Okay.
Do we need to put that in our personal context?
She's probably going to fade away.
Yeah. She just holds onto the coin tightly and vanishes along with it.
Are we talking about true name or?
That would be a dirty trick.
When you say it aloud, it does feel like it has special power.
Cool. Okay, we got another coin.
Oh, the one for Shadow Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, Shadow Dawn.
You don't see anybody that matches any of the description that you got, at least around, immediately.
Okay.
Am I still being
Maybe-
chased by this demon?
What's that?
Probably change back.
Yeah, don't be a bird.
Maybe I can shit on him first.
It's the most dangerous game.
The most dangerous number 2. All right. Yeah, do you wanna like dive bomb him or anything?
I mean, I still do have like reckless as my trauma, so maybe. Why not? For literal
go,
shits
try to
and
scare him?
giggles.
What's the goal?
Really hammer it home. Dire form, just take a massive.
Dire form, not diarrhea.
Okay.
A diarrhea.
I guess that would be a target.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do a target roll to see if I can nail him.
Okay.
What even is this game?
Come on,
Failure.
course of
It's a
action.
failure. I got a 3.
Okay.
Aw.
That means I'm probably in trouble if he's got a harpoon.
Yeah. So, you realize that when you're lining up your cloaca, he's lining up his harpoon gun with your cloaca. So,
Oh no.
luckily you're in dire form right now. So, or are you? Was that the idea?
Yeah. So
One essence?
I forgot to hit my essence, so I checked it
Okay.
now.
Okay. So,
Should I have
But
done
because
anything
you're-
for my roll because of that? I just rolled for just my target point.
I would say it would normally give you increased effect, but in this case it's going to reduce some of the consequences a little bit because you're so much bigger. So you get so big in front of him, but you're not able to release defecation. You're just maybe not that used to flying and pooing at the same time. And with the shape shifting, also sudden, you get a little camera shy.
Okay.
And however, your size is enough to really frighten him. So he turns in a big puff of feathers that just come flying off of his body, and he scrambles back to his side of the boat, where he very quickly puts away his harpoon gun. But 3 feet tall, purple guy who has a long, thin ponytail and is wearing a red suit. And there was nothing else at his except what looked like a magic lamp. These other metal cups and lamps. So it's just amidst all of them.
He should be able to find which one's his, right?
Should. So yeah, he looks perturbed.
That's fair.
So you're this like seabird with like a 9-foot wingspan.
An albatross.
I was gonna say I'm an albatross now.
Okay. Yep. And so you're perched on his half-smashed booth. And yeah, he's on the ground behind it, cursing in English.
Oh, English.
Finally have an English speaker, and you've managed to upset him.
So, and he yells out, "Birdman, where are you? Is this one of yours?" And he kind of scrambles to his feet and brushes off his red suit with gold trim, and he just shakes his hands at you. What is this? Yeah. Tries to shoo you off of his boot.
Well, if he thinks I'm one of the beach birdman's birds, then I can just fly off without saying anything. He doesn't know who I am.
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
Is everybody still down on the beach, or have they made their way back up to all the stalls to see?
You guys are all aboard the ship, the big ship.
Okay.
The
guess.
beach is nowhere to be seen.
Okay. Just because the guy, you're saying that the bird man was on the beach, so I thought they were still on the beach.
No, he was just on the other end of the ship. Sorry.
I guess I'll have to fly away from the stalls or the group so I can change back and not cause such a ruckus since I'm huge.
Okay.
I'll run up to
separate from the group a little bit.
I'll run over to the guy and try to distract him.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I'll run over to the guy and try to distract him so he doesn't walk to where Ceph flies off towards.
Oh, okay.
And I shall follow.
Alright. You want to spend a willpower and
I don't particularly want to spend a willpower. I don't have much left. I don't want to draw him out.
That's what an assist costs.
Gotcha. It can't just be an action.
Yeah, I guess it could be. What do you want to roll?
I'll roll a sway.
Okay. That'll be a setup action for the prowl or whatever Ceph wants to use.
It's not as successful. That effective.
Say it again.
I got a 3. Failure.
Okay. So, he immediately notices that giant bird. Then it's your fault. You have to find my lamp.
Don't say I look like a bird.
No, but you're with it. It's here because of you. And he goes and he's trying to chase down the bird. So, Ceph?
So I'm doing a roll just to get away?
Yeah, if you want to shapeshift and hide.
Yeah,
so he doesn't know it's you.
I guess. Would prowl work, I guess?
Sure.
To get away, or?
Yeah.
Partial success, you do it at a cost of 5.
Okay. What are you turning into to hide?
I could just turn back into my normal form because he doesn't know what my normal looks like. So just
Right.
like, oh yeah, I'm just another patron here. I'm just doing some shopping.
Okay. Um. Okay. You find a quiet spot to shapeshift back and stay hidden. But as you shapeshift, you end up backing up against the back side of a furnace, um, and it's not hot enough to cause you any physical damage, but it is enough that it dries you out, and you're gonna have a difficult time casting any spells.
Got it.
All right, Hollis. This creature has you on the hook for finding its lamp. Unless you want to do something.
How about I come up and offer to help find the lamp so that I can look through all of this pile of shit and hopefully try to pocket some up my sleeves while I find the lamp.
Okay, so you want to maybe sway or something to get in there and be able to help?
Yeah.
He's busy chasing a bird. He's not even here.
That's true.
He left his booth completely unattended.
Well, there's nothing left. Or unless you want to use like a study or something to try to locate it quickly.
Well, I'm also looking for stuff little things I can slip up my sleeve and steal since it's in a pile of stuff.
The lamp is relatively small. You could probably pocket that if you found it.
Okay.
And it's probably
yeah.
worth more than the other cups and stuff that it fell into.
Okay. Sorry, my spiral is falling over and ruining itself. So you were thinking a study?
Yeah, whatever you think would be appropriate.
Okay.
You're also an animist, so you can sense the spirits of things.
I'm not entirely sure how that works, by the way.
You just decide on the thing that you want to bring the spirit surf. It would.
The
I don't think it would. Yeah, you'd need to like get it in your hands, but.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. I think. I don't know. I think it's worth.
The only one that's magical thing.
Yeah, I think that's. You could try maybe roll a focus or something on.
Okay.
See if you can just locate it by its spirit.
Failure at 3.
Okay. So, I think you are able to successfully get the spirit out of. But that spirit is a three-eyed blue entity that comes out of the lamp and busts through everything, and it just starts flying around and dragging the lamp with it.
Do we let the genie
Yeah, it looks like a genie. And yeah, it just starts flying all over the ship like a whirl.
Well, I'll tell the guy, there's your lamp.
Yep. And the lamp goes overboard along with the genie, and then the purple guy runs for it and jumps to try to get it.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Here I was going to roll a command and tell him he was never allowed to wear red again in his life.
8 of swords.
handling itself, should we go visit Michael Keaton?
Who's that? The Birdman?
Exactly.
I just wanted to find one nice person to ask where Jack from Shadow Dawn is.
I feel like any town has to have about a dozen people named Jack.
Yeah.
It's not going to be very helpful, is it? All we have is a first name that's perhaps one of the most common first names in existence.
I mean, we know he's a shapeshifter, so we've got a little bit of information. We know a couple of his favorite forms.
True.
So maybe we can...
I have a coin that that fish mom, gave me, but my magic's kind of screwed up now. I'm a crispy fish stick from the furnace.
I'm gonna start carrying a spray bottle.
Just a little I'm a sucker.
I missed her.
Someone here has to be selling refreshments.
So, I'm gonna, put him down as a rival for the Coven. His name is Mayu, and he is a genie wrangler by trade.
Richard. Richard Mayhew Dick.
Yeah. I just rolled a random name and it was Matthew, and I didn't want a boring name like Matthew. But yes, it is very
immediately.
It is apropos of Neverwhere for sure.
I'm guessing we kind of won't be getting downtime this session because we won't be finished with the undertaking. Because it is...
I think you've already technically finished with the undertaking. The undertaking...
We finished the banshee stuff.
Do we want to
Does
leave
that count as finishing even if we stay here?
We just want to make sure we leave with something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically free play from here on out.
Okay. I was just saying that because it is 19, and I know we wanted to finish around 10. Is that what it was? 10?
I thought it
depends.
10:30?
Yeah. Depends on if we were going to do downtime or not.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about. If we're going to have time to do downtime.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is we could either skip downtime and stuff and do that all through chat, so that everybody knows what everybody else is doing. We just some other and that way we can spend the time doing undertaking free play and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, undertaking's over, but we'll wait drawing down the go back to your coven instead. So basically at this point you're free to explore the rest of the market. So, and don't forget you have the name of the banshee that you can basically as currency here. You can each use it once.
Okay. I'm going to save mine for Jack.
So, did any of you think of stuff that you might want from the Fae as payment?
Yeah, what the Fae might have.
Pretty much
anything your heart desires. Yeah.
Wait, can they go ahead and turn my panther into a flying panther with like scorpion tail? So
I thought you were taking chimeric familiar to be able to do that.
Oh, I was, but I'm not gonna be able to do it for until the end of next session. I don't think so. I was just thinking. then I could get another thing, and they could give me a Fey Panther. I don't know. I don't have anything else that I currently want as far as I know.
Okay.
I want a new gown.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure the Fey tailors are something spectacular, so...
You want that thing that Gavin talked about last time, those clothes that stay clean all the time.
Well, not necessarily those, but I'll accept anything pretty. And just a little bit sexy. But still classy, of course.
That's the thing, Mark. Does everything come with a cost?
Yes, except
Every
Some kind
market
of
works,
sneaky
darling.
negatives.
your first one is free in this case. Because it's payment for your previous undertaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By using the Banshee's name.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So here are I've got like a list of NPCs that you can interact. You can determine who it is that might be able to give you what it is you want. We have Mara, your friend, with no arms and the wheel for a leg.
Oh my goodness. You had that all prepared, darling.
It's so specific, now I understand.
Yes, it wouldn't have made sense if there wasn't some kind of source.
Let's see. We have the mechanic, the person that she's after to get some more assistance. So the mechanic is good for anything that you want. Anything mechano-magical that you want worked on.
An iPhone.
For entertainment, we have the gladiator, who is a two-headed, 8-foot-tall humanoid who really wants to wrestle with Hollis.
Wow.
Because they spotted you climbing the
Climbing the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I fell off.
Dislocated your shoulder.
Well, apparently they didn't see that part. Let's see. We have a magical weaponsmith that can help with any kind of weapons.
Can I get a dagger that never, misses?
Never misses?
Yeah.
I feel like a dagger that never hits its target is more likely at a market like that. Which would probably still have some uses.
Yeah, I think we'd have to figure out what NPC, but I do think that could be a thing. It would probably cost a couple of Fey bargain every time you... So maybe 2 Fey bargain marks, but it automatically hits. So,
Wow.
even when you fail the roll.
Yeah. I feel like that might be handy. Handier than a flying panther for now because I can't get my flying panther later.
Yeah, the mechanist could certainly make you like a mechanical thing that you could install on the panther to make it like what you're looking for.
I wanted my panther to turn into a not panther.
Yeah. I think most things that would let you do that, like maybe a lesser might let you do that. They could there's probably somebody that we have let's see. we have that butcher that you met earlier that might be able to help out. He can choose whether his knives split things apart or join things together. He has knives for each. So if you have the right animal, you could potentially get him to...
I think we need a knife that joins things together so we can unmake and remake the guy that we have in the holding cell.
We
I
can
like
pick up his arms from the warehouse. Attach them
Just
to
use
his leg.
Roger like Legos, just put them back together over and over.
Put them back together with like random weird parts.
Oh my god, put his like head where his arm goes. He's a Picasso.
Give him a bear tail and the two left hands and
Trying to find my bird guy.
I want a headband that protects my mind from illusion magic.
Ooh.
I don't want to be illusioned anymore.
Okay. Let's see. Trying to think of the best person to make something like that for you. They might have to outsource that to another fae that's not, or we could come up with somebody.
Any sort of magical items crafter.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Man.
Birdman! He looks cool.
And then, for entertainment, we also have a on the ship.
What?
A sword swallower.
Oh, okay. Okay, literal for real swallow swords.
Yeah, whole.
So it's not a euphemism.
Nope. They don't go in and back out. He just swallows them.
They gotta come out at some point.
They don't come back out the way they came in. Let's just say that. Okay, so we have Mara, the mechanist, the wrestler, the sword swallower, the magical weapon maker guy, the butcher, and the bird guy.
You know about Mara, besides the fact that she now no longer has functional limbs? Is she some sort of specialist?
She's gonna go see the mechanist and try to get some replacements for her arms.
She doesn't have any extra skills.
Who's that?
Mara. She doesn't have any extra skills.
No, she's just immortal. She just comes here a lot to get trinkets to sell to witches back on Manhattan. Aww. Little baby man.
She was just being too cute up there not to share.
So cold. I don't know what I want, guys.
I know I have
Me
no
neither.
use for entertainment.
Decision paralysis. I think the weaponsmith, the weapon enchanter, might be the best bet for a lot of the things you all want. But it just might require some downtime between when you give them the order and when they can get you the item. So who wants to approach someone with a request?
I guess I'll go after the weaponsmith person.
Okay. He's another one of those four-armed creatures, but his whole face is where you would expect it to be. He's got moon white skin.
Okay.
And he has, one of each of the witchy devices in each of his hands. So a cup in one hand and a cudgel in another hand and a long curved dagger in a third hand, and a pentacle in the fourth.
Okay, so I will say something to him along the line. So, Banshee, can't remember her name now.
It was Aislinn.
Aislinn said that you might be able to help me a thing that I want, and I will tell him that I want a headpiece to keep me safe from illusion magic.
When you say her name, his eyes cloud over and his mouth drops wide open, and he listens, and then nods and says, "Your wish is my command." And so what was it that you wanted?
A headpiece that protects me from illusion magic.
Okay.
Not anything too showy. I want it to be, blendable, so that nobody's
right.
like, that lady's wearing a giant tiara walking down the street.
Do you roll 4 dice?
4 dice?
It's a fortune roll.
That is a critical success.
Woo!
Anti-illusion headpiece.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, anybody else?
I have an idea. I read a cool thing a couple weeks ago. Just a bunch of things with punny names, but it's like a cloak of tongues where you can understand and speak different languages, but causes psychological damage because it feels like there's mouths and tongues and things touching you the entire time you wear it, so you just progressively get more insane the longer you wear it.
Oh, wow. On the positive side right now, you don't have to worry about downsides of items, so now would be the time to get the version of that doesn't have 1,000 mouths. That's the kind of thing that they would probably give you if you asked for that, and you didn't have a good payment method.
Okay. Because it could be fun to play with, like, the messed up if I want to get at some point. That's the only thing I'm considering.
Yeah. They could definitely do that.
Later, darling.
What was that?
Me?
Yes, you.
I said you'll get something messed up later, darling.
That's true. Yeah, I guess a cloak or a hood of tongues. Because that came up a few times in like this session and last session where it's like, we can't understand you.
Yeah.
So maybe I can't speak it, but maybe I can at least understand people.
Yeah. So you want to be able to understand any fae, human, any language, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it would be OP if I can like just speak it too. So maybe if I just understand it, we find some kind of way of like charadesing and communicating to figure out get them to understand us.
Yeah, I think the mechanic could probably give you an upgraded tongue if you wanted to be able to speak it. But yeah, as far as like a hood for understanding, you can roll 4 dice on that if you want that.
Okay.
You can upgrade your ears now.
Critical success. You do it with
Dang.
increased effect. 6.
Okay. So that's 2 crits. That means he can make it for you right now. So okay. Yeah, he again has the same effect. The banshee's name. His eyes go white, and he's extremely receptive to anything you ask. And once you're done making your request, he pulls out a number of different materials that he can fashion a hood out of. What color cloth would you prefer?
I think my picture is just everything is like patchwork. So
Okay.
I don't think Ceph is too picky.
Okay. How about like a bluish green?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay. And he puts it inside the jack-in-a-box and cranks it, and when it comes out, he hands it off to you, and immediately you can understand a lot going around you that were completely alien to you.
Nice.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Could I get a really pretty dress that would make me like everybody would like me if I put it on?
Because that's what I was thinking.
Can I get a dress that's just super powerful and
These are
irresistible?
These are tier 2 artifacts, so that's how you can write them down. So something that's like omega powerful would be but yeah, it just depends. The more specific it is, the better. Tier 2 tends to be things that are particularly useful.
Is it possible for me to wait to get my artifact until later?
Yeah, you can just we can just treat it as a flashback. You get it now, but you don't have to use it until later.
So I don't know what it is until I'm like, oh, this is what I wanted it to be.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do that then.
Okay.
That does open up my idea, which was the exact same one. Which meshes very well with my character.
We want cool stuff. You guys just want to be prom queen.
I mean, I never got to be because I never went to school, so.
Fashion is life, darling. That's all that matters. And if that fashion can be magically charged to be even more potent, then it's even more life.
So, tier 0, as far as an item, tends to be like one item of clothing that has not particularly useful effect. Once the effect becomes more useful, it goes up to tier 1, and if you wanted like all of your clothes to do it, an entire outfit, then that might be tier 2. So just whatever you're thinking, toss it out there, and we can probably figure out a way to make it happen.
So Hollis and my items, they're tier 2, just so I can list it properly, my asset.
Yep. Tier 2 artifact. Fey artifact.
I was thinking a gown that, because of its sheer beauty, affected how persuasive I was.
Sure.
Now, I'm not sure whether that would relate to command or sway necessarily.
It doesn't have to necessarily be for any in particular. Be anybody who is swayed by ostentatious clothing would be affected by it. It would probably give you increased effect on social roles.
That sounds just perfect.
So,
Something ostentatious.
I think that would generally go up into
You've cut out
caveat. I think that would probably go up into the tier 3 range. So if we put a little caveat on it, then we could probably get it back down to tier 2. So maybe like a lot of your other abilities, Fae. As in, the Fae see it and they know it's a Fae make, and so they know to be on guard.
So, I mean, they should know anyhow.
That they can see, like, the Fae earmarks, and they know that they shouldn't be tricked by it.
So it won't work on the Fae.
Right. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Alright, roll 4 dice.
Alright, watch me be the first one to somehow get a failure out of 4 dice. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Yeah.
It's a complete success, but not a critical.
Okay. So... Okay. That means that it is exactly what you wanted. It's just going to take a little bit of time for him to make it. So maybe he has a few things, but they're not what you want.
I'm very picky.
Right.
Patient.
So he keeps
colors.
producing. Yeah.
This must be crimson.
So he keeps producing all these cloths that you're like, no, that's not to my liking. And eventually he decides that he'll have to bring something to you at a later time. So you'll get it during the downtime after this, rather than right now.
Like I was going to change in front of everyone anyhow. I am a lady.
Madeline, do you want to go ahead and roll dice and see how quickly you're able to get the thing you want?
What? 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Complete success. 6.
Okay. Alright, so anytime this coming downtime or later, you can choose the item.
Okay.
And we can work together on making it happen.
Are you cutting your frog to bits right now?
No, it's just a piece of clay. I realized it's fun to stab clay with scissors and cut it off.
It's fun to stab anything with scissors and cut it off.
I was just thinking, your poor frog after all that work.
Can I ask the mechanic if he knows who Jack Transformer is?
Jack Transformer.
From Shadow Dog?
Sure. Yeah, try to do a little gather information from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know Jack.
Shapeshifter in disguise.
What do you want to roll for that?
I could try to roll a sway. See if I could get him to give me information.
For free?
Yeah. Since he's already building me something. You know. I can also, I have a guy at home that you could come pick up if you really wanted to.
What's the mechanic making for you?
The headband?
No, that was the other guy, the magician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The mechanic is the guy who's working for...
Okay, well then I'll ask the guy who's making my headband.
Okay. Alright. Good luck.
That's okay.
Okay. He immediately knows who you're talking about.
Yeah.
That old bastard. Gonna cost you, though.
I mean, I've got a thing that he wants, so if you want to keep it from him, that could be a fun game.
Ooh. Let me see.
Yeah, I'll hold up the coin, just be like, this is it, and then put it away.
Okay. One of those. Yeah, he'd pay me something nice for that.
I mean, if I tell him it was you who pointed us in the direction, he might be willing to help you out in the future.
He'll owe me something?
I mean, I'm not going to say that.
You tell him he owes me something, and I'll tell you where you can find him.
Okay, I'll tell him.
Okay. You know that arch in Central Park? That place where the order won't go?
Sure.
Just walk under that arch and around the corner and back up counterclockwise 3 times. Jack's sure to come.
Okay.
So we have to give it to
But don't be looking down on the ground for him. He'll probably... Or maybe off the top of that arch. Keep your eyes peeled upward. He doesn't let himself be seen until he wants to be seen.
That might work with that, right?
What's that?
I've got a headband that might help with that, right?
Oh, yeah. But if you see that tree fuck around, tell him I said fuck you.
That tree? Oh, okay.
talking about the southern gentleman from Rara Avis.
Maybe.
A Central Park tree. I don't know.
Alright. Madeline, you find a ebony-skinned woman with some fey features and some gold eye makeup, who has been eyeballing throughout the evening, and she finally gets up the courage to come over and talk to you. She shyly holds her cup out toward you and says, "Got something for me to drink?"
Oh, goodness, she's thirsty.
She's got gold jewelry, like a, what do you call that, a finger chain? Or it's like a chain that goes to a ring from
Those are so cool. Those are nice.
Bring it down some. Down. Down. There we go.
See, it won't focus on the...
Well, I don't think I have, like, anything to drink with me.
And it depends on what she drinks.
Well, I guess I can ask her, what does she want?
That ring, she flicks out a gold blade from the ring and reaches for your arm very gently.
She wants to drink
She
your
wants my
blood.
blood? Well, I asked her what she's willing to give me for my blood. I mean, my blood is a renewable resource.
I'll let you meet my sisters.
Oh gosh.
Who are your sisters?
More blood drinkers? You're gonna be dry by the time they're done?
Some say they're even prettier than I am.
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna put my headband on.
Do that.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. Just as pretty.
Very pretty. God damn it, why does she have to be pretty?
She's the ugly sister.
Well, I mean, she's still pretty.
Yep.
And she's saying her sisters are even prettier. God damn it, I don't know what to do.
How much of your blood are you carving?
I mean, how big is the cup that she's got?
It's
How pretty are
huge.
the sisters?
It's huge.
Yeah.
How many sisters? I assume they all have a
2
cup.
sisters.
3 huge cups.
No, just 1 cup.
They're gonna share.
She asks if you'll just come sit with her and watch the tournament.
I guess I ask her if my friends can come.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, she's been very polite up to this point. She could have just stabbed you.
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
You did
And she's
ask
pretty.
first. That's nice.
Do whatever that's called when you poke a hole in the bottom of a beer cannon. Just that with Madeline's
Shotgun.
arm.
Yeah. Alright. When you get over to the gladiator mat, you see that 2-headed giant who's, beating his chest and saying that he'll take on all comers. What's that?
The one that was in the Hollis.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
take him with him.
He's still eyeballing Hollis.
My shoulder is still dislocated.
Do you tell him?
With a good arm.
Do you want to tell him that?
Yeah. Like, sorry, dude. It popped out.
Alright, you see his 1 black arm and 1 white arm. He raises them up, and then he slams his hands together and starts rubbing them.
You're gonna fix
And
my
then
shoulder? I mean, that's cool.
And then he waves you over.
Okay.
I was partially hoping he was about to dislocate his own shoulder.
I know, stop it. It's fair now.
In the playing field.
Can you roll 2 dice? Fortune roll?
Sure. It's a complete success.
Okay. He clasps his hand around your shoulder, and you feel warmth radiate through it, and it completely heals.
Oh, yay! Can I take that off my hair?
You may.
Yay! Now I have to
He
find
then
him.
picks you up and puts you on the starting position opposite him in the circle.
Alright. I'm gonna sumo squat and be like, let's go.
Okay.
Light up a smoke and watch.
He matches your stance. Or
That's
they.
what I was hoping for. He's very wide, and I just run right between his legs.
That's very possible. So it looks like it is sumo rules. It's out of the loses.
Okay.
Alright.
I do have a brawl dot now.
Ooh.
I was about to say I'd love to use physical takeover to rig this fight, but he's a phase.
Yeah. Do you want to try to do a use you and your against him?
Use me in my what?
Small stature.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
I'm just gonna run around fast till he gets dizzy and falls over and then roll him out of the room.
All right. You get 1 die for that. Just brawl.
Yeah, just brawl.
But you'd get increased effect.
Okay.
So that put you back up at standard effect. You want to use anything else? No?
I have a partial success.
Okay.
You dislocate your shoulder.
Oh well.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay, how about this? You are completely successful as far as getting him out of the ring. One of his hands touches outside of the ring, and you're waiting for them to say he's out, but then his body splits in half down the middle, and one half of him has to get out of the ring, and the other half gets to stay in.
That's cheating.
So, what do you want to do now?
Let's do a fey bargain and try to Does this half of him have all the limbs that a normal person would have?
No, only 1 arm and 1 leg.
Alright.
And they're counterbalanced to each other.
Okay.
But he was 2-headed, so he still has a head.
He still has 1 head.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna take a fey bargain so I can get a spring die, and I'm gonna spring into his 1 leg and try to sweep his leg.
Making a bargain with his other half. Angry that it's been discarded.
How about what you do inadvertently breaks some very, very lesser known fey rule of gladiatorial combat, and so they're going to future gladiatorial matches. They're going to prohibit you from joining any more gladiatorial matches.
That's disappointing.
You've been blacklisted from Fight Club.
My goodness. The tiny little gob is not allowed to fight in sumo wrestling anymore.
Alright.
Complete success.
What?
I got a complete success!
Nice! Alright, yeah, you sweep the leg and bring him down. His knee cracks against the edge of the ring, and the front half of his body falls out, and as soon as he touches the ground, you see him trying to split again. No, I'm
just the leg.
Yeah. Alright.
It's not really Adam's family, it's just like the hand that's left.
The other head hops over and just starts berating him for failing. And the 2 of them curl around each other and become one creature again, and are just yelling at each but he reaches into one of his pockets, like, big loincloth, and he smacks down 2 fey fruit in front of you.
My goodness.
I'm gonna walk around like I am super strong.
Everybody's booing you. All the other fey are booing you.
That's fine.
That's fine.
still
The 3 of us
very
are cheering and clapping.
Yep.
That's our friend.
First you threatened that big guy into vomiting, and now you've...
I should have gained some respect here from all the large guys.
Yeah. Madeline, from you playing hard to get with the lady all night, she gives you her number.
Shit!
You had a sexy contact.
Yep.
Wait, what's her name? So I can add
I
her.
will figure that out.
Oh, I think I was supposed to add something else to my grimoire also. Oh yeah, the rival.
The one-legged rival.
Yes.
We've now got 2 rivals lacking limbs. At what point do we go to my rival and remove theirs?
You get 2 choices for name. Willa or Rio.
Willa or Rio?
Yep.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go with Willa.
Okay.
How do you spell that?
Willa.
Okay. Cool.
Because she doesn't get any blood, she instead drinks moonlight. So she pulls moonlight down into the cup, and it forms a pool of, like, mercury, and she drinks that and shares it with her sisters.
I want to drink moonlight.
I feel like that would get one incredibly high.
It would kill you. Maybe not today, though. But eventually.
Isn't that just life, though?
Yeah.
Eventually, one day.
Eventually it'll kill you.
Eventually, breathing enough oxygen, you die.
Yep. It has an oxidizing effect on your internal organs. It's not good. You end up just like this boat.
That is
Rusty on the
full of holes.
inside.
And covered with barnacles on the outside.
Only if you're lucky. Alright. Well, I think we can call it here and be off camera. So, does anybody want to say goodnight?
Does anyone want to see me twirl on my thing? Because I figured out how to twirl on it really, really fast.
Absolutely.
Not to us.
Okay, I gotta turn my light up because. Okay. Really fun, basically.
Nice.
I'm gonna do performance art with that eventually.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna start doing drag burlesque soon.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
That's so cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you want to plug anything?
Plug
Your,
anything?
yeah.
We are live, darling.
Yeah.
Socials.
Oh, yes. Well, I think my best socials are my Instagram, swords and lace with underscores between each word. That's my best social at this point. All the rest of them I go crazy on.
I do love going crazy.
wish to see me go crazy, you can find my link tree on my Instagram in my bio.
Nice. Right. Anybody else? Morningstar?
I don't have anything to spin on.
No, that's okay.
But
She set the bar high.
Yes, I can't compete with their acrobatics.
That's part of dance performances at some point, though.
And my handle is in the tag, so
Yep.
they can find me if they so want. But it was a lovely session. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
I
See
don't
you
have any
all next
content
time.
to follow. I'm just here for the chaos.
The chaos is good.
Chaos. I'm just
Right.
fancy dress.
Well, have a good night.
All right.
You as well, darling. Ta to all of you. Mwah.